Marco Rubio versus Bernie Sanders. They're not talking to each other. These are two separate clips. But I love this because it's a perfect example of Republican ideology versus progressive ideology. And Bernie Sanders is a rare politician who actually is a progressive. First, Marco Rubio is going to talk about Medicare and Social Security and what it's done to our country. Let's watch.
It was institutions in society that assumed the role of taking care of one another. If someone was sick in your family, you took care of them. If a neighbor met misfortune, you took care of them. You saved for your retirement and for your future because you had to. We took these things upon ourselves in our communities, in our families, in our home, in our churches, in our synagogues. But all that changed when the government began to assume those responsibilities. All of a sudden, for an increasing number of people in our nation, it was no longer necessary to worry about saving for security because that was the government's job. For those who met misfortune, that wasn't our obligation to take care of them, that was the government's job. And as government crowded out the institutions in our society that did these things traditionally, it weakened our people in a way that undermined our ability to maintain our prosperity.
You know, if you don't know the facts, it might sound appealing, like, oh yeah, we're all got weak and lazy, and it's so much worse for the senior citizens now under Medicare and Social Security. You might think that if you know nothing about the facts. Here are the real facts. Before Medicare was enacted in 1965, about 1/2 of American seniors did not have any hospital insurance. More than 1 in 4 elderly were estimated to go without medical care due to cost concerns. So if you got sick, half the senior citizens just didn't have insurance. That's why 1/4 of them, even when they got sick, would go without any help at all. So where was that vaunted family that Marco Rubio is talking about? Now, did it exist for some people? Of course it did. Some people have a great family structure, and they still do, and they protect their grandparents, etc. But obviously it doesn't apply to everybody. And in the Republican view of the world, if you don't have that great family structure, and you don't have anything to back you up, and there's no social safety net, too bad for you. You can't go to the hospital? Sad day. Die in the street. What do I care? That's what that ideology comes to. In fact, when you talk about Social Security, 1 in 3 seniors were living in poverty before Social Security. And that's a conservative estimate, actually. So a giant chunk of our senior citizens were not being taken care of by their family or anyone else. Now, what happened after Social Security? Well, we'll let Bernie Sanders explain.
When Social Security was developed in the 30s, its goal was to cut down on senior poverty. And when it was developed, 50% of seniors lived in poverty. Today, poverty among seniors is too high, but that number is 10%. Social Security has done exactly what it was designed to do. Think about this. For 75 years, in good times and in bad times, Social Security has paid out every nickel owed to every eligible American.
So estimates of anywhere between 33 to 50% poverty for senior citizens before Social Security and Medicare, and afterwards 10%. That's an enormous improvement, and the Republicans look at that and go, oh, what a shame. We should go back to the days when 50% of senior citizens weren't taken care of at all. Another 50%, I guess, were taken care of by their family, or they planned ahead, or whatever it was. It's because they have no empathy. They don't give a damn about the other 50%. And why do they not want to take care of them? Because it would come out of their precious funds for the rich. Well, if we'd have to tax the rich just a tiny little bit more to make sure that we could pay for Social Security so that our senior citizens don't live in poverty. Oh, no. Marco Rubio can't have that. Us working together as a community to take care of each other. And you remember what Social Security is. It's not some sort of government handout. All it is insurance. You pay into it your whole life, and then you get it when you come out. That's why Social Security has a $2.5 trillion surplus right now. And that's what Marco Rubio and the Republicans want to rob, because they already spent it on the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan and on tax cuts for the rich. Don't let them do it under any circumstances. They're lying to you. Bernie Sanders is 100% right.